Hello, welcome back. Today's tutorial is about developmental milestones of infants. Before we go onto the development, it's important to know what an infant is. An infant is a person or a child from birth until 1 year of age. Some people can use the infant for a more variable number, but this is pretty consistent. That infant is defined from birth till 1 year of age. Now here I have divided the developmental milestones onto three categories. They're easier to remember, and that's how I learned it. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first column is the age, and then there is 6 developmental milestones within a year, and then the last one is a little more than a year. So kind of 5 developmental milestone. So the first one they're going to have right after birth is rooting reflex. It's the first box should be 0 to 3. I put down 3 because I remember it naturally, and it's easier for me to remember. Okay, until 3 years old they're going to have rooting reflex. And what exactly is rooting reflex? They can describe it to you in a question stem, and you should be able to recognize the rooting reflex is when a child moves their kind of face and their mouth looking for the nipple to breastfeed. Okay, so that's rooting reflex. It happens between 0 to 3 years of age, and after that the rooting reflex kind of disappears and a new reflex begins, and that's called a motor reflex. That's when they kind of throw their arms and legs back whenever they're startled. So that's a motor reflex. So they can somewhat use their muscles of their hand and their feet, and they should also be able to hold their head up a little bit at this age, around 3 years of age. And this progressively becomes better, and their muscle function from 3 years of age progressively is going to get better and better. Socially, they're going to be able to give a social smile, okay, at 3 years of age. The next one is at 4 years of age. This should be 4 to 5, but the earliest is going to show up is at 4 years of age. So they are now able to, at 3 years of age, they are now able to move their head, move their legs, move their hands. Now what's the next thing? Now at 4 years of age they can kind of roll. They can use their back muscles, and they can roll from front to back. And that's the ability they're going to have at 4 to 5 years of age. And they can sit when propped. Okay, they're going to be able to sit when propped. That's also 4 years of age. At this age, the cognitive or the social development they're going to have is they're going to be able to recognize people. Okay, they're going to be able to recognize people. Now, at age 7, or should I say 7 to 9, that's when the major developmental milestone happens in terms of motor, and that's why I left it blank. Can you think of what developmental milestone happens at age 7? At age 7, they should be able to sit alone. Okay, they should be able to sit alone. And they should also be able to crawl. Okay, so they can extensively use their muscle. Now they can sit alone, they can crawl. It happens at 7. So it's very important for an infant to be able to do it at 7 to 9 months of age. And development cognitively, they are going to have stranger anxiety. Okay, they're going to have stranger anxiety. So that's when they always start crying whenever they see someone new. So 7, if you had to remember one developmental milestone which kind of balances everything else, that okay, what can happen before it and what can happen after it, I would remember age 7. So motor wise, they're going to be able to sit alone, they'll be able to crawl. Cognitively, they're going to have stranger anxiety. Okay, what's going to happen at age 12? What one thing disappears at age 12? They're going to be able to, there is not going to be any Babinski reflex anymore, or there should not be any Babinski reflex. Okay, Babinski disappears for age 12. Okay, and at about age 15 they should be able to walk. What about the cognitive developmental milestone for age 15? This is also very important. They're going to be able to start saying some words. Okay? And they should also be able to have separation anxiety. Okay? So if I had to remember some of it, I would remember 7. I would remember 15, because these are very, very important. At 7, they should be able to sit alone and crawl. 7 to 9, okay? From 7 is the earliest. So if you have a mother coming to you and saying, okay, my child is 5 years old, she doesn't sit alone yet, she doesn't crawl, you know that the developmental milestone starts at 7 years of age. So at 7, they sit alone, and then they are able to crawl, and they have stranger anxiety. So anything before and after we can kind of, ballpark. At 12, Babinski disappears. At 15, they start walking. Cognitively, they're going to start saying few words, and they're going to have separation anxiety disorder. Before 7, at 4 and 3, at 4, they're going to be able to have the ability to roll from back in front. They sit with the prof, they'll be able to recognize people. And at 3, they're going to have more reflex. They can hold up their head, and they're going to also have social smile. Okay, they're also going to have social smile. So those are all the developmental milestones for an infant. I'm going to make another video for toddler and preschool, so stick around. Please comment and subscribe if you like my videos, so that I can get some feedback and kind of get encouraged to keep making these videos, or leave me a comment if I have made any mistake. I'll be very glad to correct them. Alright, so see you in my next video. Bye for now.